What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to 2025. Happy 2025. I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday. This is the first Tuesday with Turbo for 2025, and it's actually Tuesday. It's actually Tuesday, so we're taking a right step in the right direction here in 2025. Like I said, I hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday. But we are back in business, back in action. And yes, this is another edition of Hats Off with Turbo, where we talk about we kind of break down different professions, what types of coverages they need, as well as some examples of why that coverage would be important or kind of necessary. And for those of you that do not know, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I am your insurance resource, and I do all types of videos insurance related, and try to not only be informative and educational, but kind of shed some fun on it as well. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of the video today. And before we get into that, I did make a post on not only my page but the Abbott and Powers page yesterday that I've set a goal to get to 1,000 followers on our Abbott and Powers page. So I'm hoping that not only that we hit that, but we absolutely destroy it. And the goal of it is to not only make insurance more, kind of easier to digest as far as, what does this term mean? What does this coverage do? And stuff like that. But just to kind of let folks know that insurance can be a little bit fun. I know that doesn't seem like it is, but that's why you're going to have to follow the page. So while you're at it, if you are seeing this, go ahead and give us a follow over on Abbott and Powers Insurance Services, and go ahead and share it so that we can hit that goal and become one of the more influential insurance pages on Facebook, at least here in Michigan. I did some deep diving, and there really aren't a lot of heavily followed, or there's a handful of insurance agencies that are actually posting regularly on their social media. And I want to go a whole different route. I want to make it fun. I want to make it not only visually appealing but also educational and fun. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about our Hats Off series today. Today we're going to be talking about graphic designers, and in kind of parlaying in from the social media talk to graphic designers. Businesses nowadays use graphic designers for any number of things, whether it's to design a logo, put together social media marketing. There's kind of an unlimited to have the job description of graphic designer. You can go 1,000 different ways with it. But as a graphic designer, you operate in a creative industry where your work has both tangible and intangible impacts on your clients. To protect your business and livelihood, it's crucial to have the right types of commercial insurance coverages. Not only am I going to list the key coverages a graphic designer should have, but I'm also going to give you some examples too. And what you're going to see with these these different professions in the Hats Off series is a lot of them are going to be very, very similar. But when we get down to the nitty gritty, that's when there's certain coverages that are individual to those professions. So a lot of these are going to be kind of same old when it comes to even the social media marketer, or some of the other hats offs that we've done. So some of this might be a little bit of repeat, but hang in there. We'll get to the specifics, the nitty gritty as to what separates a graphic designer and why they need these coverages in particular. We're going to start off with just the most, I'm not going to say generic, but the most commonly used insurance coverage is general liability. General liability. We've talked about it on great ends on this with this series. But what does it cover? This protects against third-party claims of bodily injury, property damage, and personal injury. And we've talked about bodily injury. We've talked about property damage, and we've talked about personal injury. An example of this would be a client visits your home office to discuss a project or trips over a loose rug, injuring themselves. General liability insurance would cover medical expenses or legal fees if they sue. And now, with that example, be very careful about having having an office in your home, because that might interfere with your home insurance. So kind of be careful on that. I'm going to write myself a note. We're going to make a video on that as well. Number 2, professional liability insurance, errors and omissions. We talked about this with the photographer, but what exactly would this E&O coverage protect a graphic designer? Errors and omissions protects against claims of negligence, missed deadlines, or errors in your work. An example would be a client claims your design failed to meet their brand guidelines, causing a marketing campaign to underperform. Professional liability insurance would help cover legal defense costs and any settlement. So kind of getting back to like when we did the photographer with the quote unquote bridezilla, or your memory card fails and all of those photos are now gone. It doesn't replace the photos, but it can cover you, if your client does sue you because you didn't perform or failed, or something caused you to fail to perform your duties as that profession. So like this, if you do miss a deadline, or a marketing campaign, your logo causes the campaign to underperform, this would help cover that. This would help cover that. Whereas if you didn't have something like this in place and you are doing something freelance like this, you're opening yourself up to a whole slew of legal expenses, defense costs, settlement costs that otherwise could have been picked up by this coverage. Number 3 is our BOP, our business owner's policy. What does it cover? A BOP bundles general liability and property insurance, which covers your business equipment and office space. Again, getting back to that whole, if your office is your home, this is where some companies want, if you do have a home office like that, they will want the home written with the same company that you do the BOP for, or any of the other commercial policy. So please, if you are using your home office for any sort of business like this, make sure you talk to your agent. Make sure that your home policy, the rules for that company are satisfied. But an example of this would be your computer or graphics tablet is stolen. The property insurance within a BOP would replace it. If a company sues you for personal injury at your workspace, the liability portion would respond. So kind of the business owner's policy gives you the general liability and the property coverage. Any of your computers, anything that you use on a daily basis in order to do your job as a graphics designer. Number 4, cyber liability, and again, this is a coverage we talked about with the photographer. This covers or protects against data breaches, cyber attacks, and any other online risks. An example of this would be you store sensitive client information on your computer, a hacker steals it. Cyber liability insurance would cover legal fees, notification costs to affected clients, and even ransom demands. And this is something that in this day and age is almost a must for any business that does any sort of transactions of money, whether it be through whatever, Venmo, PayPal, anything like that. Even if you are doing stuff like that, it is always a great idea to have extra cyber liability as with your business, just in case something like this happens. And cyber liability is actually pretty affordable. Number 5, and guys and gals that are watching live, if you do have any comments or questions, please drop them in the chat. I will do my best to answer them live as we're going here. If not, I will respond back, and if I don't have an answer, I'll find us one. Next on the list is commercial property insurance. What does it cover? Protects your physical workspace, whether at home, in a rented office, and your business equipment. This can be a biggie. If you are in an office space, that office, is covered, fire, wind, weather, all of that stuff can affect that office. So is it covered? An example would be fire damages your office, including your computers and design tools. This policy would cover the cost of repair and replacement. A very powerful coverage, because these are things that, are out of our control. Very similar to your home policy. So kind of keep that in mind. The next one, these kind of get into the specifics of the job of a graphics designer. The next one would be business interruption insurance. What does that cover? It helps reduce lost income if you can't work due to a covered event, fire, natural disaster, like we talked about, in the prior example with your home office or actual a rented or owned space. A severe storm damages your workplace. You're unable to work for a month. Business interruption insurance helps cover lost income during this downtime. Next here would be intellectual property insurance. What does it cover? Protects you against lawsuits claiming you infringed on someone else's intellectual property or vice versa. And again, this is another niche coverage that is very important to a graphics designer, especially when you're getting into creating logos and stuff. Are you creating a logo that does not infringe on, a copyright or something like that? So it can be very, very huge. An example of that would be a client accuses you of using a copyrighted font in a design without permission. Intellectual property insurance would help cover legal defense costs. And if you don't do your homework on stuff like this can be a massive hit to your pocketbook if you don't have a coverage like this. And again, if you do have employees, workers' compensation is a must. Covers medical expenses and lost wages if an employee is injured while working. An example of this coverage would be an assistant helping you in the office strains their back moving equipment. Workers' compensation insurance would cover their treatment and off time. And if you do use your vehicle, and if it's titled to your business, you would need commercial auto insurance. What does it cover? It covers vehicles used for business purposes. Really don't need an example of that one because it's pretty self-explanatory. And the last coverage we're going to talk about is inland marine insurance. And I know that sounds weird. We're talking about a graphics designer and we're using the word marine, which most people associate with boats and water, but that's not the case. Inland marine is essentially a policy that covers specific things. And by things, I mean usually equipment, so computers, cameras, any design tools that you may use. So what does it cover? Protects tools and equipment while they're in transit. You're traveling to a client's office with your laptop and external hard drive. If they're damaged or stolen en route, inland marine insurance covers the loss. So yes, another weird insurance term that has nothing to do with really what we normally associate a word with. So just because it says inland marine does not mean it covers boats on land. So keep that in mind. So why do all these coverages matter? Well, graphics designers often work with valuable equipment, sensitive data, and high-risk projects. The right mix of insurance ensures you're protected against risks that could disrupt your operations or threaten your financial stability. Tailoring these policies to fit your specific needs is a key to peace of mind and long-term success. And that is what I am here for. I am here to not only make sure that we talk about all of these coverages, but make sure we get them at the best price that we can, so that when something does happen, we can sit down and talk about what happened, how is it covered. So that's where your insurance agent comes in. That's where any good insurance agent. And in particular, when it comes to business stuff, it is always kind of hit or miss. You either have the business owner that wants to be super protected and wants to make sure every single incident would be covered, or there's the ones that are just like, I want the least amount of coverage possible. Regardless of whichever business owner you are, we will have a market for you, and a product that will most likely fit your needs. So, and one of the main reasons I wanted to start doing this series is to let people know that, if you do stuff like this on, whether it's a side hustle, or you're doing it, if you're just starting out, or if you've been doing it for a while and haven't had, someone approach you and be like, hey, you really need these business coverages, to let you know that they're out there. And B is me in my own personal insurance journey. I'm getting to know, exactly what these different professions are, should have, or at least have the conversation with the client to be where, okay, Mr. Graphic Designer or Mrs. Graphic Designer, these are the coverages that I recommend. What do you think? And kind of meet in a more agreeable meeting. So that's kind of the reason I want to do this, and just like I said, just kind of put it out there. So you might be saying to yourself, well, Ryan, I watched this whole video. I'm not a graphic designer. Did I just waste my time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even though you might not be a graphics designer, you might know someone on your friends list that is, or maybe they're on your friends list and you don't even know that they do this. So if this doesn't apply to you, go ahead and share it, because I have a feeling there's someone on your timeline that will need this video. And for those of you that do want to do have questions, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, here's my contact information. You can comment on this video. You can send me a Facebook message directly. Here is our office number, as well as my email address. So I'll give you a second to screenshot that. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our hats off to graphics designers, what coverages they need, as well as, kind of, I even went to the extent of giving you examples, some real life examples that could actually happen. And for a few, if you look at the cost of the coverage as compared to what the outcome of a situation might be, it's normally pennies on the dollar. So let me know if there's any professions you would like me to break down next time. I do have a couple in mind, but I'm always open to new ideas. And like I said, these are real life professions. So if there is a profession you would like me to cover, let me know. I'd be glad to. But I think that's where we're going to end this week, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone have let's get 2025 off to a great start. Let's get it off to a great start. Everyone have a great week. I know the kids are back in school, so everyone have a great week, and I will see you next time.